to part 2 of the campaign for control over Planet 777. So, basically in part 1, the word bearers were able to get a pretty significant, sizable victory against the Death Guard forces, routed them after making first contact, and have continued their assault onto the more sizable detachment. The Death Guard fell back. The only survivor from that battle was Iskander Kar, the Praetor. He's been able to regroup with a more significant Death Guard force. This game is going to be 1,850 points, and the scoring for this mission is that there are 6 mysterious objectives on the battlefield. They're each worth 3 points at the end of the game. We will be carrying over the score from game 1. So the score is 3-0 to start off. Obviously 3-0 for the word bearers. That's why I'm still wearing the hat of shame. Hopefully I can get Sean to have to don the hat of shame here at the end of part 2. But going through the armies, I'll go ahead and just run through 1,850 points of Death Guard real quick. I've got 2 20-man tack squads. Both those sergeants have melt-a-bombs, artificer armor, rad grenades, and power sides. I've got 2 units of 10 heavy bolters. Those are my heavy support, but they count as troops, which will be scoring, so that's kind of nice for this game. And then I've got 2 vindicators, and I brought the siege dreadnought, the big brother to the contemptor who got blown up last game, so hopefully he can get some revenge for his little counterpart. And then just as a reminder, we looked at the scoring rules. So everything that's a troop is scoring, and everything else is a denial unit. For the most part, everything else on this battlefield is a denial unit. We don't have any flyers or anything like that that'll be zooming. And then we're also playing, in addition to these 18 points that are possible from the 6 mysterious objectives worth 3 each, we're also playing Warlord and Last Man Standing. So, Sean, would you take us through 1,850 word bearers?
Yeah, so over here we have a Land Raider Phobos. That's a dedicated transport for 5 Cataphracti Terminators. Outfitted the same way as last time. It's going to be a chain fist. 2 guys with a single lightning claw. The sergeant has dual lightning claws, and then 1 guy has a heavy flamer and a power sword. Over here, it's a Rhino full with 8 meltas. It's a tactical support squad. Oh yeah, the Terminators have dark channeling, and they are zealots for the game. Over here, I have a Mortis Contemptor with 2 Kiri's assault cannons. I have a Cordis Contemptor with a Kiri's assault cannon, power fist, and twin link bolter. Over here, we have a 16-man squad of tactical marines. Barias is in the squad, the Diabolist, and they're sitting over here on this objective. Their dark channeling is that they are zealots. Over here is a 17-man tactical squad with Dal Hashem, the chaplain, and their dark channeling is they are +1 strength, and they will have a zealot because they are with the chaplain. And in case you didn't know about something about the Unspeaking were word bearers that traveled around on missions on their own to gather warp artifacts and learn more about the warp, which is why on Calth they came. They were already most of them were already infused with demons. So this is a representation of them.
All right, well, that takes us through both sides. I think we're ready. We both done all our warlord traits, and Sean rolled for his dark channeling already, so his whole army's fearless basically, and I'm going to go ahead and try to roll to seize the initiative. All right, it'll be word bearers going first at the top of turn 1.
So at the end of game turn 1, a lot happened. On the word bearers end, these vehicles moved up with their packages heading towards the Death Guard line. The Mortis took down the Vindicator in a flurry of shots. These guys stayed exactly where they were. The chaplain and his squads moved up onto this objective, took massive amounts of fire from the Death Guard, from bolters to a Vindicator cannon to heavy bolters, and took down all but 5 tactical members, and the chaplain is down to 1 wound. The Leviathan took his shots at the Land Raider. He hit the Land Raider, but his 3d6 penetration on the Graviton Flux Bombard did not do any damage. So that is the end of game turn 1. Moving on to game turn 2. So at the end of game turn 2 recap, a lot has happened. So from the Word Bearer's turn, we took shots at the heavy bolters, took shots at this squad to no luck. But over here, that Leviathan that once stood is now down due to the Melta squad. In the process, the Leviathan's explosion killed 6 of these tactical marines. They passed the morale and kept on moving. These dreadnoughts took shots at the tactical marines, did some decent amount of damage there. And then moving on to the Death Guard turn, the Death Guard has shot down 3 of the 5 Terminators through heavy bolters and bolters. And over here, the 5 men that were left in the previous tactical squad have been wiped out by these bolter bros over here on this side. The Vindicator got a really good shot off, took down the chaplain. Dalashim is down, as well as 4 of the retinue inside of this squad. That is the recap of game turn 2. Will, you have anything to add?
No. That was a lot of casualties for Death Guard though, so it's going to be tough to recuperate heading into turn 3.
And game turn 3. Combat's ongoing.
Alright, we'll bring you the recap at bottom of game turn 3. So, on this side of the board over here, Word Bearer's Land Raider moved up. Their Terminators that were there, they failed a charge against these TAC Marines. And the Contemptor did not. He got into combat at the top of turn 3. In response, all these heavy bolters were able to finish off the Terminators over here. And then those heavy bolters shot up a couple of melta guns too. In the combat, everybody whiffed over here, except for the melta bomb did do a glancing blow. And then in the bottom of 3, the Dreadnought killed off 2 TAC Marines and the melta bomb missed. In the shooting phase for Death Guard, the Word Bearers and Death Guard exchanged a little bit of bolter fire over here. Both took a couple of casualties. This Vindicator shot the last melta guns that were standing there. And that's it. So heading into the top of turn 4. This flank is still collapsing over here for the Death Guard, but it could be worse. But over here it looks a little differently, where the Death Guard were able to push the last Marines off of that point. So kind of a little, back and forth over here. So we'll see how it finishes out with the... Alright, so let's recap the bottom of game turn 4. Heading into what might be the final turn. All these heavy bolters were able to get 3 glances and strip all the hull points off of that Rhino right there. The Dreadnought and the TAC squad with their melta bomb remain in combat. He took out another 3 that game turn, and the melta missed twice. And then these heavy bolters got a couple of casualties on the TAC squad in the building. Same with these bolters from these Death Guard over here. The Vindicator was able to get a weapon destroyed on that Dreadnought right there. And the Land Raider moved up. Kiri's moved up. And the TAC squad here is just sitting on this objective back here in cover. So this might be the final game turn. So we might be bringing you the conclusion just here in a brief moment. Alright, bringing you the recap at the bottom of game turn 5. So, the combat here with the Dreadnought and the TAC Marines, just still stuck in. The melta bomb whiffed once and hit once and then failed to penetrate the armor. This Kiri's, he shot at one of these heavy bolter squads, but the one Rend, they made their cover save and the other guys made their armor saves. Same over here, those guys made their armor saves against those bolters. And then in the Death Guard turn, these guys jumped on that objective, these guys jumped on that objective, these guys jumped on that objective, and then all failed to either hit because they were snap shooting, or in their case, they failed to wound with any of their shooting. So, like I said, in the combat, nothing happened. So, I think if we do the math real quick on camera, the game did not end. We didn't get that roll on tape, but what would have happened is Death Guard would have gotten 3 objectives for 9 points, and Warlord. No, we're not. Are we playing? Yeah, we're playing Warlord. So that would have been 10 points, and then last man standing would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So last man standing would have been a push, and then Death Guard would have had 10 points, and then with the 3 carried over from last game, Word Bearers would have had 3 for that point, so that'd be 6, and no Warlord, so they would have just had 6, I think. So it would have been 10-6, but the game went on. So Death Guard's like only redeeming good quality.
10-3. You don't count points from last game.
Oh, I thought we were counting points from last game.
At the very end of the campaign.
Isn't that after this game?
No, it was three missions.
There's another. The 40K game is included in this?
No. That mission's tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right, glad we worked that out. So it would have been 10-3 for this game. And this will be a 3-part campaign. I guess I was saying it would be a 2-part campaign, so sorry for the confusion there. And then, all right, so, but like I said, the game went on, so Death Guard could not take advantage of one of their best attributes, which is having a lot of scoring units. As the game goes on, I know this Dreadnought's going to run in here and try to deny that objective. That one might get out of combat and go try to deny that objective. This Land Raider can go jump on something. So we'll see how it shakes out at the bottom of turn 6. First off, let's see if the game goes on, okay? So this is after game turn 6. On a 4 or better, the game goes on. The game goes on. So, right now, Death Guard's sitting on 1. Word Bearer's sitting on 1 in that building. And Word Bearers are denying that one. Nobody's actually on that one right now. This combat goes on. Nobody's on this objective or this objective. So it's 1-1 on objectives. But then I got Warlord, and right now, Linebreaker is a tie. What's likely to happen is that Tac Marine, that Sergeant to die in there, and then Word Bearers score Linebreaker and potentially be a draw 4-4.
Last man standing.
Last man standing, I mean. And then since he would have 5 units remaining and I would have 4, and then we'd each score 1 objective, I'd have Warlord and he'd have last man standing. So it might be, but we'll see. We'll just have to see what happens after what is now going to be the last turn. We'll be right back.
Shut the fuck up and go.
All right. Recap. End of game turn 7. Hat of Shame comes off. The conclusion of the battle leaves the victory points for this battle at 4-4. You can see that one objective over there for the Death Guard, and then over in that building over there, another one for the Word Bearers, so that's 3 points each. And then Death Guard scored Warlord, and Word Bearers got last man standing since they have 5 units left on the board right now, and the Death Guard only have 3 since this squad is still retreating. So 4-4 for this battle. All in all, a really fun game. I have to remember some of my rules. We realized last game that I had my Praetor fail a fear check to the Diabolus since he's a demon, but we were looking for another rule and found that, remember, the Death Guard are immune to fear, so you always got to know your rules. And then I probably had a little misstep in my deployment when I set up the Siege Breaker Leviathan over on the flank, intending to meet the Land Raider in 18-inch range of his Graviton bombardment, which I don't really play. I play Chaos in 40K, so we don't have Grav, and I just saw the word Grav and I figured it's really easy to immobilize something, but that's not how it works in 30K, so I had 300 points of a Leviathan sitting over there just right up next to some Meltaguns, and but either way, even if I would have immobilized that Land Raider, the Meltaguns would have, on his next turn, would have gotten in range and blown him up anyway, but that was probably a bad decision because I had the opportunity to counter deploy Sean and I stuck him over on that flank thinking I could make something happen, but I really should have just stacked this side more, and then maybe I've had more resources to go and jump on that objective on the left flank. you never know. You can say what if all day, but it was a very fun game for part 2 of the campaign to secure the artifacts and the relics that might be causing this pox on planet 777. Obviously, the Death Guard are drawn to any relic that would have that type of power, and the word bearers want to subvert it to their own devices as well. So we'll play the conclusion in part 3 of this campaign tomorrow, but hopefully I'll get them all uploaded around the same time. So if you like this one, click on that one, subscribe, like. Thanks again for watching.